Breakouts versus Gizmo is the game that happened earlier. This game is going to be Backfire versus Esper. Backfire versus Esper as we continue the Mass Duelist EU, a $500 grand prize tournament in which these players will be playing without knowing who they're playing against, and you guys will not know as well. The point, of course, for fun, to figure out who it is and win yourself a bit of prize. This is the semifinals, and we'll get right into the grand finals immediately after. These guys playing on alt accounts, so there's no way to track down their accounts that they're playing on to see who it might be. We found that out, that was apparently very easy to do when we did one of our test matches. So instead, they're playing on these completely clean accounts that will often load in with bot names. So don't worry about the fact that it's Gerwin versus Sundown right now, or Sundo, because that will change soon. It is Backfire versus Esper. Backfire on the blue team, Esper on the orange. Now, you guys have seen these guys play before, which means unlike the earlier predictions, which are just about all 50-50, nobody had any idea who was going to win, you'd expect these to be slightly favored one way or the other, but actually, you guys went right back to 50-50. You have it perfectly down the middle for Backfire versus Esper. For a moment, you guys were believing in Backfire. At least the Backfire believers were quicker. And I tell you what, they're looking smart right now as Backfire is up 3-0. Esper not able to grab that corner boost. Backfire scoops it, takes it, and shoots on their open net. Backfire, another boost steal. Actually didn't grab it, though. Clearly was going into the corner to take it. Esper losing possession here as Backfire now out of the back corner has a reset. The flip on target, but sent high. Esper able to at least stop the bleeding after the first minutes, but need to get some offense on their own. A little air dribble off the ground where ball cam stays on the whole way. Backfire defends it and counters it. 4-0. Backfire booming top shelf. A nice save and in and out of the net for the counterattack for Esper, who is going to go all the way to the attacking corner to grab some boost. Bit of a risk because Backfire was on their way rushing to the net. Esper, another catch, air dribble bump. Does not work. Backfire's defense right now is impeccable. Esper finally going to break through. Many of their previous chances were not poor. Backfire was just leveled up. Esper on a catch. Not the greatest setup. You know, I gave credit to Backfire's defense earlier, but I'm going to have to give the credit for that one not working to Esper themselves, as they were not bringing that ball on target at all. Esper now another ball cam on dribble, but this time with the camera completely sideways. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Just dribbling this with almost a 90-degree angle on the ball so they can see what Backfire is up to, and then turning it into a double jump bump to get their second goal. Backfire, big kickoff win. Immediately puts the lead back to 3. Esper, quick to the ball. Oh, that was an amazing shot. The car control here in the corner to get this kind of power. Backfire heads out to the midfield boost and turns in field because they're not really that worried. They don't expect, you know, perfect control into that hard of a power shot. So they didn't think they needed to retreat back to net, but Esper proved them wrong. Now Backfire, a demo, should result in a nice easy goal. Esper, kickoff win into a weak front foot flick. Gonna go for a double off the back wall, make it a triple with a reset. Didn't connect, but possession still in their favor as Backfire goes to the opposing corner for boost, and Esper is gonna be able to use their reset for a clean goal. Backfire looking to defend off of the back wall for a moment, but decided to transition to the ground. The back wall actually might have been the better place to be to try and defend that, but of course, if you stay up there, then Esper doesn't use the reset, goes to the ground, and gets a punish. Esper getting a 5th goal. It looked like Backfire was maybe pulling away, but 1v1s are long games, and Esper's still in it. Backfire picks up the midfield 100. Turn into dunk. Now can they make something happen as a dish? They do! It's a double touch, and Esper's going to drop the nice shot. Backfire will take the compliment. Wave dash kickoff for Esper. Ball in control of Backfire, who elects to get a boost steal instead. You see Esper swinging around the arc to pick up as many pads as possible to defend with something, but it doesn't matter. Look at Backfire go as they pop the ball up and graciously carry it to the net. Backfire, a bump, and a goal, and a next out of Esper. They've had enough. Game 1, a 4-goal lead will be enough with 45 seconds. Backfire starts out the series up 1-0. Game 2. Backfire and Esper. Esper just needs a bit of a better start, and that could have been it, as they won with the first kickoff into crossbar down. Follow-up, but couldn't get it. What a pinch to save this one away on the post. Esper can't chase it down, though. They know at any moment Backfire turns around and takes the ball away. Esper going to ceiling height in an attempt to intercept. It's not going to work. Not sure if Backfire really needed to pin this down to make sure it didn't bounce too high, but a nice secure follow-up in order to make sure it goes in. Backfire gonna have to carry this on target. The first few touches are into the corner and not to the nets, but they end up faking. Still not quite bringing it all the way back to a shootable position, but look at the control. Not once did they give an opportunity for Esper to feel like they can challenge. They control the ball the whole way. They have a huge boost disadvantage in that moment, and yet they still find the movement on the flick to put it out behind Esper. And a kickoff win for Backfire. The follow-up, though. Booming shots from Esper. What a save! Backfire pinches it with the post and sends it high. That's the best that Esper can do with the little boost that they have. Now Backfire does not take the wall to air dribble. Maybe didn't want to go rise up with Esper prepared on the side wall. Instead, would rather play the ground game. But Esper ends up pre-jumping there as well. And now has an attack that Backfire will be rotating to late. They actually air rolled to kind of push the ball out of their control. Best they could get was a 50 at that point. And maybe they would have been better off trying to make a play out of that bounce. They went for the fake. The bounce went too high to stay with it. They allowed Backfire to clean it up. Now Esper again out of the air. Backfire's defense has been good so far, and Backfire went high on the back wall and then got back down to make the low save, attacking back the other way. They did not touch the ball with their reset, but really they couldn't afford to. They probably ended up putting it too high if they did. Esper on 0. Backfire popping the ball ahead and getting the third goal. Backfire got carried there for a moment, but it didn't matter. Still able to get their angle on the shot. Esper, little wall dash to prep behind the ball. A 180 from Backfire to set up in shadow position, as they seem to have no interest in challenging early or even faking challenging early. They said, look, I'm going to shadow and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm still going to get the save. And now Backfire back the other way. The little wave dash setup to cut it around right at the perfect moment when Esper would be making contact with the ball. It gets skirted away. Backfire going to get another 5-0. Backfire absolutely controlling this series so far. Esper actually got going a little bit towards the end of last game, but doesn't matter. Right back to Backfire dominance, who is going to lose the ball to Esper. If Esper doesn't score here, they're in big trouble, but they should have no problem getting the side flip. Backfire off the bounce, leaning into a reset. Felt like they never really had something they liked. What a clean catch to take the ball away from that corner where Esper was going to have a chance to be involved. Instead, just switch the field. Sure, Esper, this needs to be a goal. Oh no, Esper! That had to be a goal. You are not in a position to get away with not scoring those opportunities, but fortunately, Esper does get back around after they flubbed their open field a little bit. They do end up converting, as Backfire did not have a lot of boost pads to pick up, not even the small ones to gain anything. Bounce dribble from Esper. This never goes out of style, but apparently if you're playing against Backfire, it does. Backfire is not going to allow the perfectly placed top corner hook shot. Now Esper. Flick. Intercepted early. Backfire. Gonna send this one to the sidewall. Esper out of the ceiling. Seems to not want to pull the trigger early if Backfire doesn't challenge, but yet Backfire still is able to get a decent 50. They cannot keep him out forever, though. Esper on the goal line, pushes it into the net to bring them within 2. This is what happened last time. I think we had 5 straight goals for Backfire, but now Esper is getting some of their own. Will they run out of time before they could tie it up? Esper got underneath it and put enough power to get out past Backfire, whose goal line defense had been impeccable so far, but only so much you could do with completely zero boost. Esper kickoff goal would tie the game, but not quite there. Backfire, are they going to be safe on what could be a game-tying mistake if they don't control the ball? Seems like they were ultimately safe. That was a really tough angle. Esper knew they had to try and go for it. Didn't get it. Now Backfire air dribble the other way. Went for the power touch in order to just force a full retreat. And even though it didn't score, it actually means you take all the boost out of Esper's tank and make it unlikely for them to retake possession, although Esper is doing the best they can. They actually have a big boost advantage now, popping the ball in front of the net. Save from Breakout. Boost spawns perfectly for Esper, so now Breakout is playing on very little. Esper to the ceiling, tried to send it down. His angle was not essential to be able to stop Backfire. And Backfire on zero boost saves the game to make it 2-0. Backfire versus Esper. Game number 3. Both games so far have gone the way of Backfire controlling the first 3 minutes to get a big lead, and Esper trying to crawl back. Game 1 ended up giving up with about a minute left to go. But in Game 2, had a 0-second chance. And for the first time, we maybe are seeing an Esper lead. I'm not sure we've seen Esper lead. Maybe they had one really early on. But Esper going to drop this one to the ground, and Backfire, who was expecting the high play, could not get the low save. Esper and Backfire vying for position. Esper now, another carry. Took off ball cam on the double jump bump, which is only interesting because you can see they have been keeping ball cam on for a lot of their dribbles. Backfire, for the first time, having to try and figure out how to get going. It's not helping that these kickoffs are going heavily in Esper's favor. Little camera check as Esper goes for a really aggressive play. We watched it from Backfire POV. They just waited in net, and I think they basically bet that Esper would not be going top shelf. They said, I bet Esper's shot goes low and directly at me, so I'll wait it out. And they were right. And they're rewarded with their first goal. Esper, a kickoff goal to make it 3-1. You'll remember that Esper, after going down 0-2 in the quarterfinal, said, it's reverse sweep time, and lived up to the call. Ended up getting the reverse sweep. Are we going to see that here again today? Backfire stopping the bleeding with a kickoff goal to match Esper's. Resets, lost control, Esper. Now Backfire. An air dribble, they're going to need a reset or a catch, I guess, to bring it back on target. It's going to be a catch! And a nice shot from Esper, as this looping air dribble is attacking that right post from Esper's POV, and next thing you know, it's caught and brought all the way back. It actually hits off the post before it goes in. A great change of direction from Backfire, and we have ourselves a tie game. Backfire chasing down this ball despite not having any boost. They are eventually going to have to leave. Esper did not control the possession like they needed to. They allowed Backfire to pretty much immediately stop their play. They could have probably had a bit softer touch there on the back wall. A dodge of a demo from Backfire and a long shot. Backfire is right back where they've been all series. Up 4-3. Esper not going to this kickoff. Half flip. Backfire reads it. Wants the low 50. But it actually ends up falling perfectly into Esper's hands, who's going for a bit of a ground pinch shot, but either didn't get it or decided they weren't going to get the power. Decided to bail out of it. Actually got a little bit of a touch there. And a quick follow-up from Esper. Maybe that's exactly what they were playing all along. Esper kickoff win and kickoff goal. So 5-4. A much more competitive game here in game number 3. Backfire. Air dribble into a 50, into a goal. Kickoff win converted as Esper tries to read the dribble. It because Backfire is kind of taking their sweet time, it ends up forcing Esper to make so many different adjustments and land awkward just to get to the ball, which favors Backfire, who is now going to fake and then chip the ball just a little bit too high to score immediately. And now they're forced into a really aggressive take off the side wall. It's only as heavy as it is because they need to not slow down in order to not get demoed. Now going to be another double jump bump probably from Esper, who has thrown those in on occasion. Backfire half flipping out and returning before Esper can get much going. A dish across the field. Loses possession. Backfire eyeing up that left side wall. Switch the complete field in order to get there, which is an interesting decision. You don't see, every player being willing to, or being seeking out, wall to air dribbles as much as that, especially because when you take a slow cross-field dribble like that to the wall, you're very likely to get challenged early. It's not as clean of a setup as when it happens a bit more naturally. Esper, another double jump bump attempts, this time with a little bit more air dribbling. And now it's Backfire to the ceiling. A well-positioned ball to work with. Maybe a bit short and end up not being able to win the 50. It has been a deadlock here at 5-5 as Backfire and Esper look to gain an edge. What a defensive play from Backfire. Seemed very risky with that high single jump, but ended up making it work out and did not put themselves too far out of position. A bump from Esper. Can break out, make it back. They do. They get a demo, and they end the possession. Now Backfire needs a touch and to be able to grab 100 and get back to the ball. Can't do all of it. Esper is going to stop it on the goal line as well because this is a game-winning stop on the goal line. No reason not to do it. You see the no problem from Backfire. Esper now up with 14 seconds left to go. Still a chance on the kickoff for Backfire. Wave dash kickoff for Esper. Standard for Backfire, who did win it into the blue half. And a setup from Esper to Backfire in the air. Touch to the ceiling, back down into a reset. Playing keep away. Planning on the fact that they have 5 seconds. It's a double demo, and that favors Esper. The ball will roll to the ground. Nobody can get back to it. And Esper will prevent a sweep and get their first game win. You're saying breakout? Yeah, breakout. Having breakout and Backfire play back-to-back was tough. It is Backfire if I've been saying breakout by accident. Breakout slams a lot harder. I'm not going to lie. Like saying breakout when somebody, maybe hits a nice play or something, Backfire doesn't really hit as hard. But I'm not sure if I've been saying breakout. I thought I've been saying Backfire. It doesn't surprise me if I messed it up, though. Esper going to chase down for a demo off of their initial play. I think it's going to take too long, though, to collect the ball and score, so Backfire is going to have a chance. Backfire, a bit of a weak flick. Esper, very intentional save off their own post to accelerate the counterattack, and now just looking for a straight-up ground bump. We've seen a few double jump bumps, an air dribble bump, and now just trying to chase Backfire down on the ground. Backfire hit the reverse and got around it. So the fans who hate the cringe are certainly celebrating when they see a ground bump attempt not working. Another demo attempt. Backfire just stays in place in order to avoid it. But it is eventually going to be a goal for Esper. Backfire waiting to play the ball out of the air on the power shots. Notice that Esper was off target. And oftentimes, powerful shot off target on the back wall is a perfect pass, and that's what Backfire is trying to prove on this air dribble. A lot of power on the finish, but directly at the defender, as Esper sets up another one of their signature double jump bumps, but they put the ball way too high for that to work as a scoring chance. And in fact, they're not going to be able to hold on to possession either. That was probably a misplay from Backfire, who meant to touch the ball but ended up whiffing. They might be able to hold on to possession, though. So they start over again. Esper shadowed, watching Backfire. Backfire will take to the skies and try and smush the ball in with a 50. And they do just that. Getting their wheels on the car. They managed to squeeze it in on this near post. And it's a 2-1 lead for Backfire. Backfire, a kickoff win to the side wall. A fake and a goal. Esper was expecting a touch. That never came. As I wanted to watch again from Esper POV, you have to prepare for that wave dash shot off the reset. Esper might have a goal. It should. So certainly not like the games that Breakout had previously, where they put a bunch of distance between themselves and Esper. Delay kickoff for Esper. Backfire. I think I said Breakout again. Backfire. Sorry, chat. I'm going to accidentally say Breakout a lot, I guess. Backfire, direct kickoff goal. Just about halftime in this game number 4. Is the reverse sweep still alive for Esper? They called it in the quarterfinal. Can they make it happen again? This flick sent high. Esper not able to get this dribble going. They should have a chance to reset possession. They're actually playing it pretty aggressive with Backfire on very little boost. They went for a pop that kept it as close to the net as possible while also putting it high because they had a boost advantage. Backfire now, he sees the challenge incoming, uses the reset, and has such a soft touch that even though the landing isn't as pure as it could be, they have no trouble getting back and tapping it in. Slight delay, I would say, on the wave dash kickoff from Esper. But it doesn't pay off. What a flick pop from Backfire. They're going to get the angle. It gets registered as a shot, but it would really just be a shot for Esper. A pretty mechanical setup there from Backfire, but one that won't pay off. I think what you guys heard was the door to the office opening, but you guys can think whatever you want. Backfire. Bounce dribble into 50s. Door, yeah. You guys got me. You guys got me. Backfire. Up 4 with 1:30 left to go. This kickoff into their back corner. How much will they play the time left? Maybe not too much if they're going to go to ceiling height on this attack, but a much safer take. We haven't seen a bump play too much from Backfire. This time they do go for it, and they drop a what a save. They're giving Esper credit for not getting beat there, and Esper will flick to the crossbar down and in and keep themselves alive. Backfire taking the ball into their own half. Even though they get demoed, they at least put a bunch of separation between the ball and the net. And Esper looking to close that separation immediately with a heavy first touch directly down the center of the field. Wants to get a follow-up bump. It's not going to happen. Backfire, the save and the counterattack goal and the GG's. Backfire is out. And so is Esper. As an 8-4 victory in game number 4 will end the series. I'll pause it here and end it. And now it gets to everyone's favorite time of the tournament. Time to guess who we thought was playing. Starting with the loser, which is Esper. Chat, who is Esper? I see Moxie. I see Atto. I see Drally. I see Nugget. I see Jorias. Chat, who is Esper? Who is Esper? Was it either Moxie, Atto, Drally, Nugget, Jorias, Raziers, Vatira, Rise, Rawas, or Monkey Moon? Okay, you guys don't need a vote off. You're going Atto. Before you said it was Atto, Rise, or Raziers this time around, all Atto. So who won, chat? Who is Backfire? Who is the winner of this last semifinal? I see Rawas. I see Vatira. I see Nas. I see Nupo. I see Atto. I see Rise. I see Juicy. I see Drally. Here are your 10 options for who is Backfire, chat. Backfire. Previously, well, maybe I'll wait and tell you what you picked previously after you start to pick here, but okay, I'll just tell you. You guys previously went Rawas, and you're going to Rawas again very heavily. You guys have been very certain, I would say, in the EU portion of the tournament. Welcome to the YouTube exclusive reveal of this semifinal. It was Backfire versus Esper. We are going to start with the loser of the game and then go to the winner. If you don't want anything spoiled, hop off now. If you only want to find out the loser, you can hop off then, or you can just find out everything. Now, Esper, when you guys watched them play in the quarterfinal, you guessed that they were Atto, or maybe they were Rise or Raziers. Now, in the semifinal, you were much more resolute, said it was Atto. What about Esper's opponent in the early rounds? They thought they were playing against Jorias. And in the semifinals, their opponent thought they were playing against Atto. So, a little bit of disagreement. Was the pro in the early rounds correct? Well, if you've been looking at the other videos, then you know, no, it couldn't possibly be, because Jorias was actually in this tournament in another place. So, was it Atto? Did you guys catch on to those ball cam dribbles? Yes, you did. Atto is indeed Esper. He did a lot of ball cam dribbling, which I think is probably the most obvious Atto giveaway. So now, on to Backfire. In the first round, you guys guessed that Backfire was Rawas. And in the semifinal, you guys guessed that Backfire was Rawas. So you seem to be pretty certain that Backfire is Rawas. In the quarterfinals, Backfire's opponent thought they might be Vatira. And in the semifinals, their opponent thought they might be Nas. Now, one of the big things you might notice about what the opponents have done is they get to see ping, and they picked somebody who has a good connection to EU, which means you guys are, in fact, incorrect, but is a little bit tougher for you guys. You didn't get to know that it was obviously an EU player. So, these guys did, and they went with Vatira and Nas. Is it Nas, who is known to have a similar playstyle to Rawas? Yes, it is. It is not Vatira, it is Nas. Nas has been doing really well in tournaments, and apparently looking like what a lot of people think is the best player in the world in ones, which is Rawas. So this one was Nas versus Atto. I'll see you guys in the grand finals.